Hello you most beautiful and most amazing top 10ers of Olympic glory. I'm Rebecca Felgate and I'm just about putting my popcorn in the microwave for this year's Olympic opening ceremony. So to drum up some excitement, I've had a look at a whole load of previous Olympic opening ceremonies and I wanted to hit you up with the top 10 best of the bunch. So in the spirit of sportsmanship, here we have the top 10 Olympic opening ceremonies of all time. In at number 10, we have Amsterdam 1928. So why Amsterdam 1928 when very little footage still exists compared to the Bobby Dazzlers of recent years? Two reasons really. The footage that does exist makes people look like they're having the best blooming time ever, and because this was a landmark opening ceremony that affected forthcoming opening ceremonies. So by this I mean that this was the first year of the modern Olympic flame. In ancient Greek times the Olympics included a flame, however the torch and flame cauldron as we know it were brought to life in Amsterdam in 1928. Now the much famed Dutch architect Jan Wils designed the cauldron, which then sat atop Amsterdam's Olympisch Stadion. When the huge bowl of fire was lit, the audience watched with the utmost awe. Moving on to a way more recent Olympics, we have the first of a few American hosted Olympics. In at number 9, we have the Salt Lake City Winter Olympics of 2002. So this is the only Winter Olympics opening ceremony on our list, and although not technically considered in the same category as the Summer Olympics, we thought that this gorgeous opening ceremony absolutely deserved a spot on our list. Now this was a very important Olympic opening ceremony as it was the first since the horrific 9/11 attack on American soil. The start of this ceremony was marked by a flag that flew in the World Trade Center on 9/11, brought into the stadium by Rice Eccles. By the way, all of the turf in the stadium was replaced by ice and the performers performed on ice skates, forever marking the ceremony as the one with all of the skating. On top of that, they got 5 Utah Native American tribes together who all rode in on horseback and performed several traditional welcome stomp dances. Ice, horses, giant polar bear puppets, national pride, what more do you possibly want? The Dixie Chicks? Alright then, they've got it. In at number 8 we have the London 1948 post-war Olympics. In a similar spirit to the Salt Lake City Games, London was tasked with the job of opening up the first post-wartime games after a hiatus during the bloodshed and aftermath. Now these were a time of austerity, so none of the usual opening ceremony flashiness was permitted, but it was the spirit of the event that made this one of the best opening ceremonies of all time. People were very thankful for the peace, and the Olympics offered a sense of worldwide healing as nations came together for the first time since the fighting. Now the initial footage shows the torch being lit by a chap in exceptionally tighty whities with a backdrop of the good old white cliffs of Dover. They then show a V for victory and peace and sportsmanship to start the proceedings. The king then arrives and all 80,000 spectators were pretty darn excited. There was a 21 gun salute and a very impressive flag parade. Yes, it was auspicious, but that's what many countries needed. In at number 7 we have Atlanta 1996. So of course the centennial of the modern Olympic Games was going to be huge, and who does it better than America? Taking place in the Centennial Olympic Stadium, the ceremony was quintessentially American, with many a star-spangled banner, marching bands, cheerleaders, college sports, and Chevrolet trucks. The event also paid homage to the South and its home state of Georgia, and it was televised to an audience of a whopping 39.7 million. What really set the opening ceremony apart, however, is the role of Muhammad Ali. Despite suffering from Parkinson's, Ali carried the torch to light the Olympic cauldron, marking the start of the games. Like, he actually stands up strong with the torch and lights the flame, which floats up magically, lighting a huge cauldron. Well done, Muhammad Ali. He will forever be remembered for this moment. In at number 6 we have Barcelona 1992. So in theory, Atlanta were trying to outdo their predecessors Barcelona. Barcelona whacked on a cracking spectacle that even included Freddie Mercury. Freddie Mercury recorded his absolute banger, Barcelona, with Queen before he died, and it was used in the opening proceedings along with some pretty crazy Greek mezzo-soprano. Another highlight were that there were many colourful and elaborate costumes of the performers. There was also a cool bionic running man puppet, and I really enjoyed the innovative way the cauldron was lit. Paralympic archer Antonio Ribollo fired a flaming arrow lit by the Olympic torch in one of the most theatrical lightings to take place in history, delighting the crowd of around 70,000 spectators. In at number 5, we have Tokyo 1964. Now this Olympic opening ceremony was hugely important as it was the first to be broadcast live internationally, and can you believe it, it was also the first to be televised in colour. This now allowed spectators across the globe to feel fully immersed in the action. Now Japan had previously missed out on hosting the previously awarded Olympics of 1940, but they'd missed out because of their involvement in World War II. Now the flag was raised to a gun salute and hundreds of coloured balloons were released into the Olympic Stadium, which before the days of high budget spectacles must have looked absolutely beautiful, especially on those coloured TV screens. On top of it all, the person chosen to light the cauldron was born on the same day that the Hiroshima bombs were dropped, making this a political statement that the past was behind Japan. In at number 4, we have Athens 2004. Now the Greeks very much saw the 28th Olympiad as a homecoming for them, as the ancient Greeks were the founding fathers of the Olympics. Now because of this, the ceremony very much focused on harking back to those days, celebrating Greek gods and the body as an athletic form. In the beginning, the stadium was flooded with water as a boy rode in on a paper-style boat. This was followed by a beautiful colour parade depicting the transition from ancient times to modern. Later there was a very impressive video screen to stadium trick. A single flame was flung out of a screen into a pool in the stadium, which then ignited with the Olympic rings rising in flames. Created by avant-garde choreographer Dimitris Papawanou, the ceremony was very much a success. Getting very close, in at number 3 we have Sydney 2000. So it is the games that then Olympic Committee President Juan Antonio Samaranch would call the most beautiful opening ceremony he had ever seen. Presented by Australia's Channel 7, Sydney's Millennial Olympic Opening Ceremony focused on themes of the aquatic and Aboriginal, recognising the owners of the Australian land. Originally a lone rider on a stock horse entered the stadium, followed by 120 other riders all holding Olympic flags, which was really quite the image. The horses circled to form Olympic rings. It was amazing. From the outback, from the mountains to the sea, the Australians welcomed the world in a real Aussie way. They also used the theme music from The Man from Snowy River, which was amazing. Now my favourite part of the ceremony was the luminescent presentation of the vibrant undersea life. And of course, the big G'day flag, because G'day world, Australia's got this, you know. Quick, deploy the jellyfish puppets. Yeah, I promise not to do that ever again. In at number 2, from my hometown, we have London 2012. So I'm really lucky as I got to experience a few games in the London Olympics of 2012 firsthand as I was living in the city at the time. My flatmates and I even had an opening ceremony party at our house where we projected this absolute gem on the big screen. I mean, it was truly amazing. Danny Boyle did an excellent job with his Isles of Wonder theme. So it started with British musician Frank Turner surrounded by a field of actual sheep. Then, this is when the craziness started happening. This sparked a very impressive Industrial Revolution theme with tall buildings popping out of a grass mound. It was amazing. Now the best part of it all was that the Queen was involved. That's right, the Queen did a skit with James Bond, who by the way parachuted into the stadium having dropped out of a plane. Then, hottie David Beckham rocked up with a speedboat yielding the torch. I mean, does it get any better? Yes it does. The cauldron was finally lit and was an absolute feast for the eyes. It was a flower design with 204 individual flaming petals, one for each competing nation. Can we just again reflect on how the Queen acted alongside Daniel Craig as James Bond? The Queen of the United Kingdom! What an absolute babe. Okay, so we have reached that all-important moment in our most amazing top 10 Olympic opening ceremonies where I'm going to reveal the number 1 spot. Now although London 2012 was incredible, it has to be Beijing 2008. So aside from the incredible design of the Beijing Olympic Stadium known as the Nest, the opening 10 minutes were by far the most exhilarating ever. After a dramatic countdown, hundreds of fireworks took off around the stadium, followed by a display of Chinese culture with thousands of martial artists who then did their very own glow-in-the-dark movement. Now this was followed by even more fireworks triggered across the city. So it just keeps on getting better from there on out. Now this was co-directed by Chinese filmmaker Zhang Yimou and Chinese choreographer Zhang Jingang. Now the show featured a cast of over 15,000 performers. The 4-hour ceremony explored images of ancient Chinese culture, scripture, and colour. Just like so much colour. There were geishas, aerial performances, the works. All in all, the ceremony was reported to have cost over $100 million to produce. Seriously. Although I can believe it having watched those fireworks, like that must have been a serious gunpowder budget. So Beijing was the most expensive opening ceremony to date, with London in second place having spent $75 million. Is money really what buys you a great opening ceremony? All in all, is it worth it? Do let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Also, by this time, maybe you've watched the opening Rio ceremony, which I'm really excited to go and watch right now, so also let me know your thoughts and favourite highlights on that. This has been Most Amazing Top 10. I hope you like our sports content. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I'm Rebecca Felgate. If you like this video, make sure you give it a good old thumbs up, share it with a friend, and subscribe to our fabulous channel. I will see you sporting beauties next time. Wah! That was a sport thing.